How you guys doing? This is Roger with Back to the Basics. Today I wanted to talk about something that I created in order to help me practice some of the spring snares, setups, and various trapping methods that I've seen on the internet and that I've come up with on my own. A lot of the times I have an idea, and then by the time I get a chance to get out into the woods, I've completely forgotten what original idea I've had. I've tried drawing them out and stuff, but I still end up forgetting or not remembering certain aspects or whatever. So this is just a way for me to do it in my home, easily, effective, and it stores conveniently and out of the way. So without saying too much further, I'll go ahead and show you what exactly it is that I'm talking about. Alright guys, we'll start with the board. All I did was take this. Actually is just a piece of plywood. It's covered in green vinyl. It was the old seat that went to to my boat. And all I did was I took a drill and I drilled out little holes. I don't know, they're probably, I think, a 1/4 inch. I wasn't real specific with it. I didn't really care. I just wanted to put some holes in it in various places. Some are bigger than others. That you can see, I've put them all over the place. So all random, all over the place, I've put a bunch of different holes. Over here, the hole was already drilled for me, luckily, but I could have drilled it out myself. All I did was insert the ring from the fishing pole, and that's what I'll show you right here. I got the handle of the fishing pole right here. As you can see, I cut it off right where the ring is, the tensioning or the tightening ring or nut or whatever you want to call it, and the handle came out about that far. I cut it off right here just because I wanted to get rid of the rest of this, and then I backed this little nut off that's down here, and I jammed it in there, and it fit perfectly. The cool part is now this is threaded, and I can take this fishing pole, which, as you can see, I already have set up with everything I need, and just insert it right here, and I can just screw it down. Screw that in there. Doesn't have to go all the way in, but I like to make sure that it's all the way set so I don't have any mishaps with the fishing pole going flying or anything. One thing to remember when you're doing this is make sure that it's out of the way of kids, or at least you're supervising, and make sure that you keep this, this fishing pole from flying up. I'll show you the fishing pole in a second, but now that I've got that secured, it's not going anywhere. So now I've created the spring pole portion of the trap. I'll scoot it down this way, and then in a second here I'll show you everything, how we got it set up. So now in this end right here, I'm going to take, I don't know what size dowel this is, looks to be about 1 inch or so, and I cut it off, drilled some holes and then cut it off. Obviously I've modified it. This was just a quick thing I did in the house last night, so nothing real exciting. So all I do is put that in the other hole that I drilled down here, or actually that was already pre-drilled for me, but whatever, it worked out perfect. So I put this in there, and as you can see, I'll show you the camera, I've got holes drilled every so often. I could add more if I wanted to, or other directions, but for right now, this is what I'm using. So I push that in there like so. Now I've got part of a trap. This is going to represent my Y branch that you would stick into the ground. Now I could go out and get a Y branch and whittle it down and put it in these 2 holes here, or these 2 holes, or whatever, wherever I want. That's the neat thing about what I've come up with, is that I can put this pretty much anywhere. I can set up all kinds of different trapping systems. So I'm not going to go into too many different trap systems with this, because the point is to show you that something that you can do in your home. So with this, I took another little peg. I don't know, it's probably, I'd say maybe 3/8 or so thick, and I whittled down the end into a little bit of a point wedge type shape so that I could wedge it into the holes. So we'll do it into that hole right there. So now I've got 2 things here. I'm going to take this one, and it's going to go through. This represents, like I said, my Y branch, and because I didn't go out and get the actual Y branch. So now, as you can see here on the tip, I don't know if you guys can see that, I took the fishing pole. Oh, and by the way, I cut all of these little rings that the fishing line used to go through. I cut them all off. They're still sharp right here. I need to clean those up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. I need to clean these up so that they're not going to hurt me or anybody else. But I left the front tip just like it is, tied it on there, and then to tension this up, all I did was just wrap, you know, I think they're called half hitches or whatever, around it like so. So you can adjust this real easy as far as tension goes. So now all I do is take my toggle stick here, see if I can pull that down, and I just basically tied a slip knot on that with a couple of clove hitches on each side and ran the rest of the snare loop out. Put a slip knot on the end, made it permanent because I'm just doing this for practice. It doesn't need to be perfect. So here's a trap that I don't even know the name of it. I'm new to trapping. I have no idea what I'm doing with trapping. I'm just learning, which is the point of this trap, or this setup, was so that I could practice. So there's one trap, and I'll go ahead and set it off here in a second. All I do is put that right there, loop it over. So it does work. So there's one trap. Okay guys, here's a look at the whole setup. There's the dog in the background. That's Skipsy. So there's the fishing pole there. Try to loosen this up so I can swivel it around and show you everything. I got my board, which simulates the ground. I got my fishing pole there that simulates the tree branch. And I have my official Y branch, or it's multi-purpose. Got my bait stick there, another toggle in. I don't remember what that's called, to stop it or whatever. And then I got my bank line tied on to the end right there. So alright guys, well that was a look at my spring snare in-house trap setup. Great for practicing at home, in the house, dry, and practice makes perfect. And I'm totally new at this trapping aspect of things, so what better way to get better at something than I'll go ahead and set this up. It's a lot of fun, and if you haven't noticed, I can't get enough of setting these traps. It's so much fun because it's conveniently in home and easy to modify. Like I said, I don't know all the traps, and I know that there's tons of different traps out there, so I like this one quite a bit because it's pretty easy to set up. Alright guys, there's a complete setup of one of the various traps. Don't know the name, and we'll see what it does. Works pretty good if you ask me. So all you need here is a fishing pole that you don't need, not very long. It doesn't have to be huge. Get one of the shorter ones, works better. I imagine that maybe even they have fishing poles for kids that might work good too. I don't remember what size this was. It was already broken, so I went ahead and did it. Modified the fishing pole. So you need a fishing pole that you don't care about. Again, cut the handle off. Save the ring that you tighten down the reel with, and drill out a hole just perfect enough for that to fit into. And then grab some bank line, tie a good secure knot on the end here. You don't have to cut all of the rings off of the fishing pole, before I forget. I just chose to because they're unnecessary and I don't need them. So anyway, so you got your bank line, you need a piece of plywood and various sizes dowels, and for the most part these littler dowels, you don't even have to go buy these. You could just use sticks from regular trees. I mean, they don't have to be dowels. Like as you've seen with this one, I whittled it down to a point and it goes right in. Alright guys, I was just getting ready to put this up and I had realized I forgot to mention something that I was going to do to this. Right about here, I'm going to add some hinges and a board, probably about, 5 or 6 inches tall, maybe a foot. Maybe it'll cover all the way to here, so it will lay down on top, over the top of all of this. And what I'm going to do for that, or the purpose behind that, is so that I can create a deadfall simulation. Just something to practice with. I want to practice the Paiute deadfall a little bit more, and the reverse figure 4 and the figure 4 and stuff like that. So yeah, I could just lift this up, and do the same thing on the ground, I guess, but I'd rather have all of my trapping things all in one, all on this board. Just makes it easier to do, and I don't have to mess with anything. Alright guys, that was a look at my in-home trap practice board. Haven't really come up with an official name for it, but if you guys have any improvements or anything else you'd like to suggest that I do, or you do it yourself, by all means upload videos and pictures or any comments. You can leave comments down below. You can also find me on Facebook, as well as my new forum at b2bbushcraft.com/forum. Again, this was a quick little in-home demonstration, which was the purpose of this trap, was to be used in-home. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this is Roger with Back to the Basics. I appreciate your subscriptions, I appreciate your views, and we'll see you on the next video.